Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Will and Wise Dog Show Drive.
Canadian edition.
I'm Will Alexander.
And I'm Y.
Just because. This week on the Dog Show Drive, we're going to talk about CKC members that are honored, have been honored for their contributions to the sport in two different worlds, but they were still honored.
Yep.
And last week's question, we're going to talk about the perspective on foreign judges, how we see them, how certain. We got a great response to that one. The differences in the AKC, the point system,
compared to ours,
and how we both crossed the border last week, what our experience was like. And this week's question of the week was: check the bite first or last?
Yep, that's right.
And lastly, how things changed but remain the same from Kennel and Bench, 1929, almost 100 years ago, Iman.
Almost.
All that and more
on
this week's edition of Will and Wise Dog Show Drive.
Canadian edition.
Waves in the sea. You show myself to me. You let me down easily. Oh, that's the way you come to me. I'm head over heels, and I'm always gonna be. That's okay. I love the way you come.
I really like our song. Hi, Wally.
I will. I love our song.
Yeah, thank you again to Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler of Blue Rodeo for allowing us to use the song and they perform it. It's not you and I performing their song. It's actually Blue Rodeo.
Yeah, which I think is better that way.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a little bit better.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, how was your week?
Busy weekends.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you were off. You were babysitting and
I left the country.
Yeah,
I did. I went to America. I went and saw Adam and Katie Bernardin and their little girl Savannah. Went and did the Ladies Kennel Club dog show there. And
I can't wait to see their promos you got taped.
Yep, it's awesome. You're gonna like it so much. Shut up. That was it was cold there though.
Does that mean your phone didn't work?
Yes, my battery kept dying. How about that? See, Mr. Smarty Pants, think you're going to... Yeah, no, it was cold. It was really cold. I didn't like it at all. I thought I was going to...
You're at West Springfield? Is that where you were?
Yeah, West Springfield, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Okay, there's a way we say it, and that's why I don't like it. Yes, West Springfield, MA. Anyway, yeah. So it's a nice show. It's a nice show. Great grounds.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm judging there at the end of the year.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really nice fairgrounds. Really good judging panel. They had a bunch of specialties there. Yeah, it was lovely. Except it was one day it didn't rain, but it rained and then it stopped and then it misted and then and so it was.
Didn't you have some issue with some tents or something?
Oh, because the wind. Holy geez, Josafats. The wind was crazy.
Yeah.
One of the grooming tents came down and then actually all three. By the end of Saturday, the one grooming tent was done. That was it. And then they took the other two grooming tents down because the wind was still going hard. During Sunday, they took it down during the day. So if you had stuff under there, you had to get out. So, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. And I think it was Cliffy Steele got hit in the head with the post. He had to go to the hospital, even get himself checked out. Get himself checked out. But he was all right. I saw him on Sunday. He was good.
Yeah, I like Cliffy. I always like Cliffy.
Yeah, it was fun. So that was my big exciting week. Of course, I didn't get out the day I was supposed to get out on the airline. Who, I'm not going to say its name, but it's So I was supposed to leave Wednesday, but I didn't get to go until Thursday. But I made it there nonetheless. But the return home, the flight home was good. The return home.
Good.
On time. Or pretty much.
Excellent.
And you?
I was out of the country as well. I was adjudicating in at the Toledo Kennel Club 2 days. So,
Toledo, home of
yes, that
Klinger.
what's that?
Home of Klinger.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Diane Anderson is the show chairman, and she got us all together. And I was on the panel with fellow Canadians, Joanne Pavey and Glenn Stark, and then we had Jim Moses as well and Angela Pickett. So it was a really fun panel. We had a good time.
Good.
So
That's
yeah.
good.
Got to see my friends like Luke was there, Luke and Diane. Let me tell you a story about Luke and Diane. And of course, Doug Belter was there, and it was a lot of Canadian content there too. So it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun.
Nice.
It was windy, but it was really sunny.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, it was really sunny because I got windburn. Each night I was like, Linda Torrance went with me.
Right.
So and she ring toured all weekend, and we had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Nice.
a lot of fun. The dogs were fun. Everything was fun. It was just a fun time. So,
Yes.
and I got a bunch of promos done with a bunch of friends down there, so that was fun. And you saw Luke. Luke did this week, but we have a library now that we're going to play some.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's excellent. So, well, yeah. So we had good weekends.
Yeah,
good weekends.
They
Now,
were fun.
back to the grind. So
And this week I have Erie Shores. This week is Erie Shores, which is
Oh,
one of
that's
Canada's
right.
biggest outdoor shows. So that'll be fun.
I was there last year. It was a lot.
Yeah, you were. I saw
Yeah.
you last year.
Yeah, but where did you go? You went judging
I
somewhere.
had to go judge somewhere on the weekend, I think.
Yeah, because you
So I
came
was there for the
down-
first couple of days or the first day or something, and then I had to leave.
Yeah, you came Thursday, and then you came for a visit, and then you took off.
Yeah, I think I had an assignment that on the weekend
I'm
somewhere.
Positive you did, but I can't remember where it was.
Yeah, I can't remember where either.
That was a long time ago. 1 year ago was
Give
a
me a
long.
couple more days, I'll forget about this weekend. So
Exactly. we have a show here at home too. Here in Thunder Bay.
yes.
Yep, we have a show coming up, so that'll be. I'm not entered, but there's some people I'll go and see and help because Hopi graduates on Friday.
Oh yeah, that's why you're not here.
That's why I'm not going there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopi Popey graduates on Friday.
Oh, wow.
So, yes. My little baby
And is she
girl.
going right into the police academy?
No, she goes back out to the park to be a park warden for a bit.
Oh,
so she's still working on the RCMP thing. So
Oh, cool.
fingers
Cool.
crossed. So yeah.
Be like a get out of
that's-
jail free pass for us.
Yeah.
We know Hope. We know
We know,
Hopi.
we know Hopi Popey. She gets so mad when I still call her that, Hopi Popey.
Yeah, she don't like that, Officer Hopi Popey.
I should get her a shirt, Officer Hopi Popey, Constable Hopi Popey.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over well. I don't think.
Probably
She
not.
wouldn't let us out of jail if we did that to her.
No, she probably put us in jail for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some shout outs to do this week.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Do you want to do the first one? Or do you want me to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So the first shout out is our good friend, Shauna Bernardin. She is being honored at the Groomania, and that's held in Belgium. And Shauna Bernardin, for those of you that may not know Shauna, she is one of our Western friends. She lives out in Calgary, or near Calgary anyway, in Chestermere Lake to be exact. And she's always been very heavily involved in the world of grooming competitions, and she's won.
She's a professional handler. I mean, she's been a professional handler for years, but she took a bit of a hiatus and really competed in grooming competitions, and she dominated. You know, she did really well.
Yeah, so she's being honored at this big Belgium show. And
What does this mean, though? It says Invitational Old Goldies. Does that mean like golden oldies, Shauna? Did somebody say tribute?
Yeah, so apparently not many people get invited back to be honored, and she is one of those people. So
that is
quite an honor.
Yes.
Yeah, so and well deserving. If you've, I know
for sure.
you and I both have seen her grooming competition results and, how she takes a dog from start to finish. And she's amazing. And she's taught lots of people how to groom and how to compete in grooming competitions, et cetera, et cetera. So she's well-versed. She's demonstrated at these shows. She's competed at them. And yeah.
Well, I think she's doing a demonstration here as well. I think she was telling me it might be a setter demonstration she's doing.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be I think she'll have she always has a good time anywhere she goes, so.
Yeah, and she'll do a great job, and people will learn a lot, and she'll have fun doing it.
Yes. So congratulations, Shauna.
Our friend Shauna. Yes, congratulations, Shauna. We love you.
Yes. So, and then this past weekend also was the AGM for the CKC too, right?
Yep.
So they had some awards done, and that's our next shout out is for Brenda Brown of Baywood Portuguese Water Dog, and she was named the 2025 Canadian Kennel Club National Breeder of the Year.
That's incredible. That's a great honor. That's a great. They should be very proud, and that's what you strive for. To be that kind of recognition, not just in your breed, but as a breeder.
Across the country, yeah. And so just a few little notes about Brenda. She has Portuguese water dogs, and what does it say here? Brenda's breeding program is internationally recognized and holds the record for the most titled Portuguese water dogs in CKC history, with over 720 CKC titles and hundreds across other organizations. That's wow. She's deeply involved in breed clubs, health initiatives, and mentoring others, and is the only Canadian to ever place in the top 5 for the Portuguese Water Dog Club of America Outstanding Breeder Achievement Award. Her commitment to health testing, temperament, and genetic diversity has made a lasting impact on the breed. She continues to compete and mentor while celebrating every success her owners achieve, saying, each time one of my owners achieves something with their Baywood dog, it's a good day. So that's
congratulations, Brenda. That's a true honor.
Yeah, and she's a true ambassador of the breed, and we congratulate you, and job well done, and keep up the great work.
Our sport is built on the backs of these people. So
exactly. And if it wasn't for people like Brenda, like how many people has she introduced the Portuguese water dog to, and then get them involved in doing CKC events, not just not just showing them, but the water work and all of that sort of stuff that they do, agility and obedience. So yeah, that's great.
No, congratulations. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Should be very proud. You're very proud.
Yeah. Then Gabe won another Best in Show this week too, eh?
Oh, did he? Canadian Bacon.
Yeah, Gabe the Magnificent. He's crushing it right now.
Following Gabe, he's been winning like crazy.
Like stink, as they say.
Yeah. Good for you, Gabe. Congratulations.
Yeah. I saw that somewhere being posted, and I was like, oh, he's
on fire. Gabe the Magnificent's on fire. Yeah. Our Canadian cousin.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we only had like 2 shows this weekend in Canada.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So across Canada, driven by Show Scene Magazine, where every dog takes center stage. Just So out in Alberta, they say Northern Alberta because it was in Edmonton. It's the Northern Alberta Canine Association, NACA, as it's known to everyone out there, held this past weekend. It had a total entry of 1,615 dogs. So that is across 3 days. The 2024 entries for the weekend was 1,855, but that note there is that was 4 days of shows. So this year they
probably held steady then, if not gained a little bit.
Yeah. So. And there's lots of specialties out there. They have Labrador specialties, just a whole whack load of specialties that are out there. And then,
it's a great show. I haven't been there in a long time, but it's a great show, Naka.
It is a really good show, run by Kathy Hawker. So, and the other show was in your neck of the woods in Blenheim, Ontario, Kent Kennel Club. And the total entries over the weekend was 848 dogs. And that's up from last year $775. So that's
Good for
pretty
them.
good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a beautiful show site. I think Jen McClintock posted like
she
a
did.
Facebook Live or may have been just a recording. I'm not sure of the show site, but the show site is breathtaking. If you've ever get a chance to go to the Kennel Club, go, because it's right on the water, right on the Lake Erie, and they do photographs of the dogs with the lake in the background right by the shore. It's really a beautiful site.
Yeah,
Really
it's
a
very
beautiful
pretty.
site.
That's great. So that was it for Across Canada, and that was brought to you by Show Scene Magazine, where every dog takes center stage.
Center stage.
Yes,
That's our friend Linda, friend of the show.
Yes. Was she ring stewarded just for you all weekend?
She didn't ring steward for me at all. She was Angela's ring steward. Angela took possession of her and didn't let go.
So last time you bring
they
the
had
help.
so much fun together. Every time I walked over, they were doing nothing but laughing and carrying on. They had a good time. They really did. I went and watched a couple breeds, and they had a good time. They had a fun time.
Excellent.
I had a good ring steward too, but I didn't have Lynn. Linda is like a professional ring steward. She's like very organized. Well, look at what she does, and she's so organized.
Yeah.
But I've been at how many shows with her now? I have yet to have Linda be my ring steward.
Maybe you should request her.
Nope, not doing it now.
Nope. Forget it.
That's right.
Forget it. So let's take a look at our upcoming shows. And these are brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information online. I always have trouble saying that. That's a lot of that's a lot of long words. Anyway.
It is.
So we're into July, because this is already June. We have started June.
I know. What's the date today?
Ooh. Today, it'll be the 5th when this goes out.
So it'll be the 5th. So 22 days.
22 days.
From this release of this podcast, be 22 days to my next surgery.
Or your surgery.
I'm very excited. Very excited.
I know. So anyway, let's get going here. London Canine Association in Elmer, Ontario. And that's July 10th through the 13th. 4 all breed shows, limited breed shows for 3, 5, 6, and 7. 6 obedience trials, 7 rally obedience trials. And that closes on June 24th. And then the next show we have being held in Balgonie, Saskatchewan, the Wascana Dog Club. And that's on July.
I've never heard of the Wascana Dog Club.
I know. I'm thinking this is a new club. We might have to have a little investigation on this. July 11th through the 13th, 6 all breed shows. There's multiple breed specialties, and the closing date for that is also June 24th. And then we have the Sault Ste. Marie Kennel Club. July 11th through the 13th, 6 all breed shows, 4 obedience trials, 4 rally obedience trials, and the closing date for that is June the 25th. And then next up in, that word that I can't say, Saskatchewan, BC, I don't know, right? Victoria.
Yeah, somebody should call in and let us know.
Yeah, because someone from BC tell me how to say that properly.
Yeah.
The Victoria City Kennel Club, 3 all breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 3, 7, and retrievers. And there's multiple specialties as well. And the closing date for that is June 18th. And then Club Canin du Bas Saint Laurent, and that's in Rimouski, Quebec. July 11th through the 13th, 6 all breed shows, 4 obedience trials, 4 rally obedience trials, and the closing date for that is also June 25th. Then the Newfoundland All Breed Kennel Club in St. John's, Newfoundland, July 12th and 13th, 4 all breed shows, and the Shih Tzu National specialty.
The Shih Tzu National, good for them.
Yeah. That closes on July 1st.
Oh, I love going to Newfoundland.
I've only been to Newfoundland once.
Well, I've only been there twice, but I really enjoyed myself.
I'd like to go and
it's so pretty.
See more of it.
And even the town is like the main streets, walking the streets with all the shops and St. John's. It's really it's really nice. That's all you can say. It's
just
homey
really
and nice feeling. You know, it's
comfy.
Yeah.
And then we have also out in the Maritimes, the Cape Breton Kennel Club in Upper Brookside, Nova Scotia, July 12th and 13th for all breed shows. There was no closing date posted at the time of our taping. Then we have Rocky Mountain Working Herding Club of Alberta in Carsland, Alberta, July 12th and 13th. 2 group specialty shows for Group 3 and Group 7. Closing date is on June 25th as well. And then out the Ottawa way is in Lombardy, Ontario, Cars Dog Club, July 17th to the 20th for all breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 1, 2, 6, and 7, and that closes on July 2nd. And then
I've been going to cars my whole life. Since I was a kid, they used to have it. They used to have it with the fair, the Cars Fair, and we used to all go to the fair at night. And I remember they used to have a greased pig contest. You know what a greased pig contest is?
Yes.
And dog show kids competed. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we'd be pretty good at like catching loose.
Yeah, exactly.
Things. Yeah, right.
We're always screaming, "Close the gate! Close the gate!"
Close the gate. And then out in Langley, BC on July 17th and 20th, that's the Pacific Kennel Club, and they have 4 all-breed shows. There's multiple specialties, and its closing date is June the 25th as well. And then we have Miramichi Kennel Club in Cross Creek, New Brunswick, July 18th to the 21st. Ooh, July 21st, that's my cousin's birthday.
I think I'm at that event.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I believe I'm judging at that event, yes.
All right. And they have 6 all-breed shows, 3 obedience trials, and 3 rally obedience trials, and the closing date for that is July the 7th. And then, as a little aside, we have what's happening at Oxford Dog Sports.
Yeah, because I asked Sean Kent to send me their schedule because I think it's important that we get it out there.
Yes.
People want to do these events as well.
Exactly. So on Sunday, June 8th, they have the Urban and Country Rat Race. Try It Day. So that is about, I don't know, what is that? What do they do there?
Well, by the sounds of it, sounds like it's going to be like a beginner's type because it says try it.
Try
so
it.
It must be a beginner's class to see if you enjoy your dog competing in such event.
Oh, I wonder if it's like barn hunt or something like that. I don't know.
I believe it is.
Okay. So that's at
Urban Country Rat Race. It's not in the barn. So
okay. All
it's
right.
like in the corridors of New York City.
Yes. Right. So anyway, there is a closing date for that, and that's this Friday, which would be tomorrow if you're listening to our podcast. And the contact is workshops and that's ATODS, so Oxford Dog Sports at gmail.com. So if you have any questions, you can email them, and I'm sure they will help you out. And then
you can just Google Oxford Dog Sports too. That'll come up too.
Yes.
So if you didn't remember that or catch that.
Yes. And then on June 20th, 21st, and 22nd, there's an ABI Backyard Barbecue Dog Show. And that closes on Tuesday, June the 17th. And there's a Friday evening show at 6:30. There's stud dog and brood bitch classes at these shows. Then there's 3 shows Saturday and 2 shows on Sunday. And that's STAR evaluations. Star evaluations. And so there's a potluck event, and also you have day of show entries too. So that sounds like fun. That's one of the and then on Sunday, June 29th, they have the ABI Rat Mazing Urban Rat Race Trials. And those also close on June 26th. And I think you can also have day of show entries. And that's also being held by Oxford Dog Sport. So on their website, I'm sure you can find more information for that. So this was excellent. There's lots going on there in June. Lots going on.
There is, and they're very welcoming there, and it's a big property, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
That backyard barbecue thing, that just sounds like a good time to me.
Sounds like a good time.
Sounds like I need to bring a cooler. Anyway, so our upcoming shows and events, they were brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information online. And then just our quick reminder for closings that are coming up real soon on Monday, June 9th, Lady Slipper Kennel Club. The show secretary is Patrick Mudge. and that is a limited entry show. So maybe take a look before Monday if you want to enter. And the Evangeline Kennel Club, the closing date for that is next Wednesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. And that's another limited entry show. Nancy Downing is the show secretary. The association Canin de la Mauricie, closing date is Wednesday, June 11th. Show secretary is Pascal Pontis. Kenora and District Dog Club. Closing date for that is Friday, tomorrow, Friday, June 6th. Yeah. Oh, geez. I was looking at going to that show. Maybe I should take another look.
Yeah, well, now you just reminded yourself. You can do it.
I did just remind myself. The show secretary is Crystal Friesian. Forest City Kennel Club. Closing is next Wednesday, June 11th. And the show secretary for that is MJN Show Services. Lakeland Kennel and Obedience Club, closing on Monday, June 9th at 11 p.m. or when that limit is reached, and that show secretary is Arctic Dreams. And then we have the Nicola Valley Kennel Club, also closing on Monday, also Arctic Dreams as the show secretary. And then Vernon and District Kennel Club. The closing date for that is also Wednesday. Wednesday is a very busy day next week.
It is.
Wednesday, June 11th, and the show secretary for that is Classic Show Services. So that is all the reminders for your closings that are coming up within the next week. So you're going to go to a show, get on it. Got to make note to self. Check out this.
Before we carry on with this week's topic, I want to thank everybody for following it. Our viewership and our following is growing. So I want to thank everybody. So it's not just my mom anymore. So
nope, it's not
your
just
mom.
It's not just Pam and Mar anymore. We got more than just them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So this week's topic is a good topic. It's brought to us by Canadian Dog Fancy, a weekly summary of purebred dog events across North America. Friend of the show, Sean Bennett. This week's topic, we're going to talk about the AKC shows and differences in the point systems.
Yeah, compared to ours. Because there is differences.
Oh, there's big differences. Point schedules and their different divisions. It's like just before I read the information that Megan gave us, each area, each state has their own point system. Like you can have a major in Bouviers in Michigan, there might not be a major in Bouviers in Ohio. I'm not sure. I'm just
yeah, exactly.
giving you an example, but that's just how it works. It's that it changes throughout the states.
Yeah. And don't they go by the previous year's entries as to how they set the numbers?
I think so.
It's something like that.
They keep the numbers and they try to keep it. So it's almost like what we do in Canada, but I mean, like they're just trying to find an average entry for that state. Try to keep it competitive.
Yeah.
How to determine if a class dog that finished placing in the group. That's something they just started. We've had that for a long time. We've had it where you can place in the group to get your points. They just started that, like either last year or the year before. I
think it's been for 2 years now. I think 2 years. Yeah, but it's still for a lot of them. It's very, very new. Yeah.
Well, for sure, and it's helped a lot of low entry breeds finish their championships. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, you can carry on from there if you want, Vaughn.
Oh, so I get to just start this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't even know where I want to start. Okay, so the updates to the point schedules are done every year. So they sometimes do it 2 times in the year, because last year I know for Minnesota, because I was unaware of this, they updated it in July 1st. They updated the point schedule, so that comes out in January 1st is the new point schedule for every state or division, wherever you are. And then if they feel it's necessary, they will do an update in July. So you have to pay attention. And of course, just like in Canada, the point schedule is listed in the catalog. And in America, they have the points for that breed actually listed with every breed.
With every breed in the catalog.
Yeah, in the catalog. So if you're a catalog purchaser, then all the information you require is right there in front of you. But there's that. And then the new determination, so we have a 2-point major that we require for our championships. In America, they have a minimum of a 3 3-point major, and you must receive 2 of those plus in total 15 points, where we're only 10
no higher than a
points.
5. You can't get any more than a 5. But
Right.
there's a 3, 4, and a 5-point major. So
Right.
it's
Yes, and that's the same, like, I believe that's the same, they have the same rule where you can only get 5 points maximum in a day, or
Yeah.
per show. Same with us. You can only get 5 points is the maximum for a non-champion to receive in a show.
And sometimes when you're entering your dogs down there, and you say you're a German Shorthair Pointer, and you see the class competition is right on a 3-point major, you might not get it because if they're, well, no. Let me back that up. If you get there and it's under a major, when you might be even less because the entries will go down because some dogs are just looking for majors, and a lot of handlers won't show the dogs just to get their single points. They may be singled out and just looking for majors. So be aware.
And that's where that term comes from. If you hear people talking, oh, he's singled out, meaning all they need now is a major or majors, right?
Other majors.
Yeah. So then there's no, especially for handlers, there's no point in showing a dog if there's no, if all they need is majors and there's none available to get. Now, the other thing that is a bit different, in Canada, we tend to add the dogs all up together. In America, the difference is males and females, the points are separated. But if, for example, if the males did not have a major, but the females did have a major, and the male goes best of winners, then you are allowed to claim that major.
Yeah, he then takes that. He has that major as well. So both the dog and the bitch.
But you don't combine. In Canada, we combine males and females together, but in America, they do not.
They do not.
No. So that's another.
But the specials become sexless. So if you do happen to go best of breed or best of opposite sex over specials, mostly best of breed, because then they become sexless. They become they join up to the largest major.
Right. Yes. So you can. They all become together, and then there's other. There's other scenarios which are way too complicated to try and discuss without pictures and flowcharts.
Charts and
But there are other ways. If you do go best of opposite sex over specials, there might be more points available to you, but you have to. And the easiest thing to do if you are doubting it is you just go up to the show superintendent and you ask them, and they will be more than
for you.
They will be more than happy to help you count your points correctly. And I've done that on more than one occasion because on more than one occasion I have also counted incorrectly in America. So that's what I do now. And then we were talking about the new thing for them is now placing in the group. Before, the only way you ever received championship points in the group is if you placed first.
If you won the group,
If you won the group. And then if there was a major in any of those breeds within your group, you would be awarded a major.
You got that major.
Had to win the group. But now they brought in the rule that if you place in the group, you now may be awarded additional points.
Yeah. We've had that for quite some time in Canada, but they really needed it down there for some low entry breeds. So
for that, and and some of the smaller shows too that they have. But for the more rare breeds too, right? It's very difficult for them to pull majors
to get their majors.
Find those dogs, right? So Yeah. So Megan did a little scenario for us here. So if in the sporting group, for example, the first in the group was a champion Labrador female, and then group 2 was a champion German Shorthair female, or it doesn't say female, but anyway. And then group 3 was a field spaniel that was winner's dog. Obviously, it was best of breed too, but it was from
he was a class
the classes. Yes, from the classes. And then group 4 was a champion Brittany. The field spaniel that won group 3rd would receive the highest number of points awarded to any dog or bitch of the breed levels or varieties in the sporting group other than the Labrador or the German Shorthair Pointer, which makes sense because they didn't defeat those breeds.
You didn't defeat them. So you're hoping you beat the Golden Retriever, so you got the points.
if those points are more than the field spaniel earned in his breed competition. So it's for example, if the field spaniel only got a point in his breed, but there was a 4-point major in golden retrievers, then that field spaniel would then be able to claim a 4-point major. So that works out pretty good.
Yes, it's helped out a lot. So
Yeah. To do the field spaniel earned 3 points in his breed competition. Oh, there. I did that. I made up my
you did
own.
it already. Yep.
I did my own little example. Good work,
Yep.
though, Megan. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah. So those I think are the biggest difference, like the biggest differences for us.
Right, and people have to be aware. Most people know before they get down there, they've done their research.
Yeah.
But at least this way, we've given you a quick little synopsis of how the
Yeah.
point system works down there, because the shows are different point level wise, but on a competition level, they're basically ran the same way in a structure level, though.
Yes,
So
exactly. It's still a game of elimination. So
yeah, it is. And they don't have puppy and group, but they have owner handler, which is the same thing. You have to figure out process elimination who's still standing as the owner handler.
They do have some puppy competitions though, because
once in a while,
but they're run different. They're not run like we run our puppy groups. They're not run the same. They're usually they'll be in a different ring, and they're not. Sometimes they're judged by an actual licensed judge, or sometimes they're judged by aspiring judges,
upcoming judges.
Yeah,
yes.
It depends. It depends on the club, and that's all laid out in your premium list, so that there's no confusion as to what. And just like us, the puppy competition, there are no points awarded for that sort of stuff. So, but we were also talking about. I saw that the Ann Arbor Club, they were inviting us Canadians to come on down and to join their show.
And there was a lot of people were just worried about the crossing, and they weren't coming. So I really thought that was wonderful that they invited us, that they wanted us to come, and they were trying to get us back to their show, because Ann Arbor's traditionally a well attended Canadians. Canadians are usually attending that show very well.
Yeah.
Now I can only tell you from what my experience. I've had no issues crossing the border, and people I know that have gone to show dogs across the border from Canada have had zero issues. Like, I was in Ohio this weekend, and there was a lot of Canadian dogs there competing. So they got there, and I didn't hold them because I was an official. I didn't feel it was appropriate.
Even at the ladies' kennel club, Kim Wendling, she was there. Pete, Adrian, he was there. He went best in show actually on Sunday. Good for congratulations!
Shout out to
Canadian
Pete. Dog.
Yeah, shout out to Pete. And he had a great.
Elaine Paquette came back and forth each day. She drove back and forth each day.
Yeah, I've not. I mean, I've flown. Both times lately that I've gone into the States, I've flown. I've had absolutely no issues whatsoever. Nothing was asked of me at all. So I don't, but I think I just have that face that
carry on.
Right. And I know, and my daughter Faith crosses the border. She crosses in her car all the time with her dog, back and forth, constantly.
As long as you have the correct paperwork, I think you're okay. So,
and even at our border crossing here, they're always like, they're tired of the paperwork.
But I think that, and I think you see you're going to a dog show. They usually, as long as you have the paperwork, they tend to just say, "Okay, have a good time."
Thanks.
Once in a blue moon, they may look it up and see if there is a dog show, but very rarely.
Yeah,
so
So
they have a lot to do with the border, so they're not going to take up too much time checking on dog shows. So
so that's all we can say is our experiences, and they've all been good and
and positive.
Nothing
so far.
out of the ordinary.
Nope. Touch wood.
Good. So we've, but it was very. I just thought that was really nice that they were, really trying to invite us Canadians to come and join.
Yeah, reassuring us that everything was going to be okay. So.
Because you know how Facebook gets to, and
for sure,
and half the stuff you don't even know if it's real or not. So
right, people panicked.
Yes. So
can I just pause it for a second? Oh, no, I didn't. All right. So what's next, Yvonne? It looks like the question of the week, which is brought
Last
to you
week's.
by the question of last week. Yeah, last week. Brought to you by Proplan. Always advancing.
Always advancing.
Always
Always
advancing.
advancing.
Nutrition that performs.
We like those. They have another one where it says something about champions. I got to look that one up. I like Proplan has a lot of good.
They have a lot of good catchphrases.
They
sure
do. They do.
So last week's question was, can the unfamiliarity of some foreign judges sway your decision to enter? And we got a lot of response.
A lot of responses. A lot.
Friend of the show, Janice Hayes. Honestly, these days, I prefer some new names instead of the same ones over and over again. I understand that, yeah.
That's a valid point.
It really is. Friend of the show, Janice Hayes.
Friend of the show. What else do we have here? We have...
we have a ton.
Oh, I know. Josephine Lambert. I'm excited about seeing foreign judges, especially if they've not have judged here before. It sets a new perspective.
And that's true. I can understand that.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, Mock, and Stacy, she's a friend of the show. I do like to see judges in the UK or Ireland on a panel having a breed that has very high entries there versus in Canada where it is a low entry breed. I'm always interested in their judging as our standard is one and the same. So that makes sense. When you get judges that have more familiarity with certain breeds, you want to see them.
Yeah.
Then on the other hand, you have them that they're not familiar with them.
Well, Amanda Kelly, she makes a couple of good points in her.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I was going to say Manchester's, but go ahead and
so Amanda Kelly, who is a breeder of toy Manchesters.
She is a breeder of toy Manchesters.
Yes. Unfortunately, my breed does not exist in the same form outside of North America, i.e. we are a breed with varieties here and completely separate elsewhere, including a different breed standard for the equivalent of the toy Manchester. We can say judges need to apply the breed standard in the country they are judging in, all that we want, but short of making foreign judges undertake training for all breeds, covering the differences before they enter the ring, the reality is that they will apply their experience and the eye they have developed for a breed over time in their own area, which is, we all know this is
true. It's true. A familiarity thing, right?
Exactly. And she says, I'm particularly disappointed, honestly, to see that our judge for Westminster next year is from England. Totally fine for the standard Manchester if the judge is able to see past cropped ears. The rest is largely the same, but worrying for the toy exhibitors as the English toy terrier in England in particular is quite different from the toy Manchester. I sincerely hope the judge makes an effort to learn the differences. All too often we are given foreign or even provisional judges for major events like this, which is so disheartening. It doesn't inspire one to travel a long distance to show to someone who may or may not understand your breed. And that's, with a breed such as that, where there are different,
vast differences,
obvious differences. It would be nerve-wracking to go and show to someone who you only sees a certain type ever, because to retrain the eye like that, it's not easy. It's not.
You've got to adjust your eye. Even when I was in Ireland a few years back and I was watching breeds and whatnot, I had to adjust my eye to appreciate certain breeds. And I tried my best to, and you try to do it so you do appreciate the breeds, because you want to go there and appreciate what they're showing to you, because there's some breeders that are working hard to bring these dogs to you. Because you haven't seen that type before or that style before, you need to adjust your eye and try to, I saw an English Springer Spaniel there, and he was a very English bred dog. And he'd win a little bit over here, but not as much as he should. He was an amazing dog. Everything fit well. His headpiece was his fight, his coat. He was an amazing dog. He just wasn't our style. So.
Yeah. Who else do we have? Mary Merlot, friend of the show. A well-made dog will be found no matter whether that judge is foreign or not. The only snag is that the judge does need to be aware that we have a best of breed class and the winner's dog does not need to be put over them to earn championship points. And that was, we've talked about that too. And it's the difference is because they don't have championship classes a lot in a lot of the countries overseas. It's a different method that they go through to pick their winner.
That's why I think the CKC representative at the show should give the foreign judges a tutorial before they start judging.
Yes.
The AKC field reps. When I get there, I've got to check in 30 minutes prior, and they give me what's new. They tell me this is what I have to be aware of, and I think that would work well for the CKC as well. If our directors are there and they should be there in time, or a representative, because sometimes they assign somebody to go.
Yep.
But I think a tutorial to the foreign judges would be highly beneficial to some of them. I remember being with one, and she was almost afraid to start judging because she wasn't sure. She wasn't sure how, and I tried to explain my best that I could because I was judging as well. But they sometimes they're nervous about our system if they don't know it.
Yeah, and rightly so, because as a judge, you're supposed to come in with like an air of confidence and knowledge and authority. And if you have no clue as to, how the classes are broken down and, how it's the progression, that's unnerving too, right? So
yeah, it is.
I agree. I do have to read this. Paula Rausch, who's an Irish setter friend of mine. If you knew Paula, you'd understand this. It does not sway my decision to enter, but does give me stress if I have trouble with a heavy accent. Especially if I'm first in line, I can mess it up quite easily. That'd be, Paula. Anyway, which is also true because there are some judges, they do have heavy accents. And I mean, last year we had a Japanese judge that came and we had to get an interpreter for him because he did not speak any English.
Yeah,
so,
that makes it difficult. Makes it difficult. Friend of the show, Michelle Briggs, she writes, there are some countries I would think twice before entering and seeking knowledge from their brain trust. In Australia, we have in the past got a lot of rowdy, and one country I avoid generally. Otherwise, my guys do great under all over the world judges. Nice. So she's had some experience with a certain area of judges that have an issue. And she tried her best to say it nicely. So.
Yes. It's true.
But these are things that we have to be aware of because clubs need to be aware of what people think when they do have such panels. Overall, I think it's beneficial. Like you look at Oakfield Kennel Club, Gordon brings in a lot of foreign judges, and they get a very good entry consistently over the years. They get a very good entry. And it's mostly due to the fact that people don't know what they're walking into. So.
Lori McDonald Campbell, friend of the show, she brings up a good point, and this is more relevant now, is I'm finding foreign judges are against cropping and docking and will ignore better dogs because of it. They need to accept that here it's allowed. That said, I still love showing to them.
Well, that was nice. That was a nice way of putting it. So I agree, because they're even for us when a tailed dog comes in, it's hard. We have to again adjust our
adjust your eye. It's so difficult. We're so used to seeing everything
or something
cropped and docked, right?
Yep.
And that's something else you need to learn. Especially too is a cropped ear is very different looking than an uncropped ear. So you need to know what an uncropped ear, what the proper look of that would be then too, right? Because you can fix a lot when you crop an ear.
For sure. And then we get to see how tail carriages are when they've left long tails on these breeds that they're trying to raise the tail set to make them shorter backed or appear shorter back. And then we see tails that are pointing the direction they're going.
That they're headed.
So
Donna got I can't say Donna's last name. She has Portuguese water. Yes. She prefers to show to foreign judges. Who else?
Well, she has a Portuguese water dogs, and they're kind of known across the world. They've stayed tight pretty well.
Yeah,
the haircuts have changed a bit, but overall.
Yes. And then you wanted to read John Bryson's.
Yeah, John Bryson, another Australian exhibitor, a judge, actually. John's a wonderful man. I am an Australian judge who has judged extensively overseas, including USA and Canada. I love seeing your cropped and dock breeds with their lovely, clean look. My daughter shows a dock breed here in Australia, and there's a definite prejudice against them by a lot of European judges, and it is not allowed by FCI regulations there. So, yeah, so they're running into issues when the FCI judges come again by adjusting their eyes. So,
yeah. Lori Iverson, she says yes, but depends on the breed. ASL German Shepherd dogs are not what they are used to seeing. So I think that's American standard German Shepherds, and depends on what country they're coming from. I have had excellent results with Mexican judges. So, and that's true. Like if you look at a lot of German Shepherd breeders, they will discuss, German bred.
Oh, for sure. There's a definite look between the two of them.
Yeah,
and some people prefer the look.
Yeah,
like it's a personal. Like even here in Canada, there's some Canadian judges and breeders that prefer that German look. You just have to you need to know who you're showing to and
That's
follow.
right.
If you have a German dog, great, go show to that judge. If you don't, you might want to avoid them.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Michelle Yaden. Not at all. She's very happy to show to foreigners. They will typically judge on soundness and structure. And that comes from a breeder that breeds stocked and crop breeds.
Yep,
So she's finding that she's fine with them. So
now Nancy Anstruther and Joanne Pavey, because Nancy has collies and Joanne Pavey, friend of the show, bred Shelties, their feeling is basically the same. Nancy says, absolutely, I will not enter under European FCI judges. For the most part, collies have sadly become a different breed in Europe. And then Joanne Pavey also depends on which country. Europe and UK are a no-go for my breed. And then
they're a vastly different type. Different type. They look very different. So I understand, and it becomes frustrating to them to show to them. But the people that know what they like and have that type themselves,
off you go.
Yep, there they go. And then in front of the show, Richard Paquette, it should not, like Canadian judges, they are very knowledgeable and have a keen eye for a dog. They may be more sensitive to mediocrity, so can withhold ribbons for lack of merit, occasionally, but for the most part, give an honest opinions and do adhere to the Canadian breed standards. Yep. And then you've got Sherry Robinson in front of the two. She's kind of in the same boat as the Sheltie people because her breed is very different.
Yeah.
From the she wrote, absolutely, research is the key to my decision. That's a smart way of looking at it. So
yeah, exactly.
Now when you're not walking in blind, you know what to expect.
Yes, for sure. And so that was a excellent response.
Yeah, we had a huge response last week. Thank you, everybody, for responding to our question of the week.
Yeah, because as we get into the show season, we're going to see more and more of our foreign judges come to Canada. So, the best thing to do is to research that judge and see what breeds they bred or have handled, and then you can make some decisions going from there. And
what's the question of the week this week?
So the question of the week this week is, do you prefer a judge to complete their exam before looking at bites or at the end of the exam? So
good question, because there's certain breeds that are different. So it's a good question.
Yeah, certain breeds are more work.
Brought to you
by Proplan, always advancing.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So the last thing we've got to go through today is from Kennel and Bench. This was a juicy little article we found.
It is. This is a good one.
Megan found it, so I shall read it for you folks. And this was from the President's page in Kennel and Bench of June 1929.
Almost 100 years ago.
Almost 100 years ago. And as I always say, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Exactly.
So anyway,
Mrs. Whitmore was just starting out.
Yes, exactly. So this is how this article read. It's obvious that all is not well with the profession of handling dogs. Rumors have been flying, particularly in the United States, although there have seen very definite echoes in Canada, that the conduct of certain well-known handlers had become definitely prejudicial to the game in general, and Popular Dogs, in its issue of the 26th of May, 1929, came out in the open with a strong editorial. So Popular Dogs back then was another magazine, was,
Yes,
like
I have many copies of Popular
Canine
Dogs.
Chronicle. Yeah, same idea. So here we go. So in view of the fact that Popular Dogs is owned and published by the George F. Foley Dog Show organization, this just gets so juicy.
It does, and it all has. You can see where everything touches, even the dog shows today.
Yeah. Which manages most of the big shows in the United States, this editorial must be regarded as significant. There are certain extracts from the editorial which will indicate its purport. The handlers are getting out of hand. They are drinking, fighting, evading rules, and altogether comporting themselves so disgracefully as to merit severe criticism for themselves and their association. I want to know what went down.
What went down in 1929?
Wow. The professional handler should, by virtue of his experience, stand lot the dignified and finished expert of the sport, has disintegrated into a rather unmanageable and certainly an unpleasant factor of the dog game. A bad actor whom clubs in many instances fear.
Wow.
They're like the mob or something.
Exactly.
I think we're missing something, but it says drink is to a great extent responsible for the misdemeanors of the handlers. That's why there's the rule that us handlers have. We don't start drinking until we're finished showing, because obviously there are reasons.
After dinner.
Yes. And between the acts, as a sort of pastime, they boo and hiss at their opponents in the ring. The continual talk of fixing. They abuse judges and refuse to accept ribbons. And when confronted with their violations, their anger and profanity are things to wonder at.
Oh my!
This
Sound
is
like
like
the characters.
Insane. The above presents a pretty damning statement of affairs, and yet I venture to think that most of us have seen something of what the editor describes. One of our known all-round judges told me a few days ago of a handler bringing a large dog to the ring where he was judging, which was known to the handler to be particularly vicious and which had attacked the judge the previous week at another show. The handler, who was not quite himself, not only did not warn the judge of the dog's tendencies, but actually permitted the dog to make an attack on the judge, which came close to having serious consequences. So basically, the handler brought in a dog known to bite and was fully prepared to let that dog bite this judge. That is insane. Fortunately, conditions not so bad. Unfortunately, the conditions are not so bad in Canada. But there are other.
Well, we don't want to.
Yeah. That's
it's interesting that's from 1929.
1929, and it sounded like it's like a free for all.
Exactly. Maybe that's why prohibition started, because of these actors.
Yeah, bad actors. But that's pretty amazing that and how openly it's discussed too, right?
Exactly.
Or not just the drink. The drink that'll always get you. The drink will always get you.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's it for this week, Will.
That's it. That's gives us a lot to think about.
Yes.
100 years ago, almost
100 years
ago.
Almost 100 years ago. Yes. So that was a good one. So anyhow, don't forget to like.
Hopefully things will change.
Well, I think they have somewhat. I think we're a little.
To a degree, yeah.
I think we're better mannered, a little bit better mannered than back then. a little bit. Don't forget to like, click, and subscribe to the podcast. Check out our Facebook page, the Canadian Dog Show, the Dog Show Drive Canadian Edition, and our TikTok account, the Dog Show Drive.
Oh, I have one more thing I want to throw in there.
Throw away.
I forgot to tell you this. I have two I should get them for you, and I'll show them to you.
He'll be right back, folks.
I'll be right back.
Hang on tight.
Friend of the show, Nancy Johnson, made two handbags. Will and Wise Dog Show Drive. And I'm going to bring them to the Erie Shores Kennel Club this weekend. And the first two exhibitors that tell me what Kennel and Bench was about this week.
Very good. Very good.
Bags. Yeah.
So remember.
So all they have to say is 1929, and they don't have to go into detail, but 1929. They mentioned 1929.
Yep.
The first two get the Will and Wise Dog Show Drive tote bags. Yep.
That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Nancy Johnson, the dog groomer.
Yes, Nancy Johnson, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
All right.
So don't forget that, folks. The first two at the show at Erie Shores, I will have those with me. First two that say 1929.
1929.
Get a tote.
Hockey started too. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah. We don't know what happened because we're behind now.
Because we taped early.
Yeah, that's the game. The game's tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway,
I better go get my seat. I better go.
See ya. Bye. For all those driving to shows this weekend, take care, drive safe, seatbelts on, glasses on. Till next week, guys.
Go oil. Head Over Heels, written by Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler, and performed by Blue